Greetings. I just got back in from shoveling mud out of ditches on the road up here, and I mentioned doing a road series about maintaining and building and designing country, well-graveled roads basically. And so a bunch of people were interested, so I'll try to do that this year if I can pull it off. But yeah, I wish I had a waterproof like head cam, because I couldn't take any of my cameras out, and get them wet. I could have just strapped that on and gone to work and then talked while I was working, because it was a good opportunity to get some footage and talk about some of the things that go wrong and why you do certain things when you're designing a road. So I know this is supposed to be Axe Wednesday, but I gotta turn off my Skype. I know who that is. That's a good segue, because she was like, your brain must hurt, because every time I get around an attractive female, I'm just going off about whatever projects I'm thinking about, and that's all I think about. There's just all this crazy stuff in here competing for space, and I'll just start, that's like the job description for being my girlfriend, is like half of it is just listening to crazy talk from me. Projects, ideas, and just nonstop. Yeah, she's like, yeah, you're an idea machine. And it's true, I am an idea machine. I don't think I'm going to run out of ideas. I just keep coming up with more. The problem is just having enough time and energy and money to make them all happen. But in many ways, I'm well positioned to do this. I think things, in spite of the fact that my views are pathetically low, and I'm going to explain why that is, but in spite of that, I feel really good about how things are going. I almost get no negative comments, like really negative comments. I get tons of really super glowingly positive comments, and thank you so much for all those. They help keep me going. And, I have confidence in myself and my ability to produce good content and my potential, like to really almost a ridiculous extent, actually. It's kind of silly. I'm kind of like narcissistic that way, and just overly believing in myself. I don't necessarily believe in my ability to pull everything off, because, I understand there's a lot of limitations there. But as far as my potential goes, I've no doubt about that, or doubt that I'm worthy of support from people to keep doing what I'm doing, and that's something that should happen. And that's largely comes from my body of experience that goes way back. I didn't decide like I need a new career, or I'm going to be a specialist in this, or an expert homesteader, or whatever you want to call whatever I do. I started doing this out of passionate interest when I was a kid. Basically, I started looking for books on homesteading when I was 16. By the time I was like 18, 19, getting out of high school, I was pretty much just like, that's what I've been doing ever since, and it's been like over 30 years. So I feel a little rushed to get a lot done in the next 5 to 10 years especially, and really just really produce a large body of content, because that's what I want to do. Here I am, I have all this background, I've got the skills down, I've got the video skills down, I've been writing for a really long time, I've been blogging for 6 or 7 years, I've written a lot before that. I've got that down. And then I have this place. This homestead is amazing. I have water, I have good soil, I have forests. I can expand that way into like literally tens of thousands of acres to just run around and camp and bushcraft and stuff. It's like a logging company land. So the only people out there, you have to worry about pot growers in the summer, like really big pot growing operations with, people with guns and stuff. Just amazing. This is just an amazing laboratory. And then I have access to the internet. How amazing is that? And especially YouTube, which is just this thing, framework or whatever, that's set up, and you just plug into it. It's a long struggle. I mean, it's been a long struggle for me. I'm like 2 years in, and I still have pathetically low views, but I know it's going to work, and it's there. If I can make it work, it's there, and I have access to potentially millions of minds. It's amazing. It's just amazing. At what other point in history has this been true, where just some guy like me who lives as a recluse, like I'm never the type of person that could get out into the world and deliver a message. I mean, the best I could do is have a book that was read by quite a few people. But now, I have the potential to compete. Like if my content is good enough and my message is strong enough, like I can compete out there by just sitting here uploading videos on YouTube. Amazing. So I just think of all of that stuff, my website, YouTube, the Homestead, me, and the whole Skill Cult project is just one conglomerate. Like I don't even, that's just is my life and what I am. It's like my identity at this point or something. And it's not like I fabricated that. It grew organically and naturally out of like what I am already, like as a person, and what I've done up to this point, and everything has just come together into this perfect storm for getting into people's minds, you know. I mean, for me, this is about influencing the way people live, and it may not happen right now. Like I'm not really interested in pushing an agenda on people. I'm more interested in just showing examples of what can be done and giving people tools so they can take those tools and create something. And the other good part is that if this works and I can start getting enough views, it'll be self-perpetuating, it'll grow itself, and I won't have to take a bunch of my time and energy off and spend it on thinking of ways to take that knowledge and information and content and leverage it to get money out of you. Like I don't want to think about that because, well, first of all, it's not in my nature. Like, you know, this is how bad it is for me. Like I have a brain tanning book, a book on making brain tanned buckskin. So I can't even remember to tell people that I have that book. Like when I make a video, I shoot the video, I write like a little outline of what I'm going to say, I record it, sometimes I record it multiple times, I go through the whole editing process, and then I write a description, and I can't even remember to tell you guys that I have that book. Because I just don't think about money like that. I just don't think about marketing. And that's why my content's good, you know, because I'm immersed and I'm obsessed with information and communicating information and education, and not thinking like, how can I turn this into a commodity? It conflicts, and part of the reason is because, you know, my prime directives are to produce a body of content that's going to benefit the most people, and that means it basically needs to be free, and to get people to buy less and do more. Because of that kind of prime directive mentality, any kind of marketing and getting you to buy things, so there's a conflict in my mind, and if I go this way, it's going to, you know, detract from my ability to do what I want to do and do it well, or I ignore it and then I don't make any money. So the cool thing about YouTube is once it gets going, it'll be self-perpetuating. And now let me describe how this works. So that's a good segue to the whole thing about how YouTube works. So people wonder this all the time. They're like, how do you make money on YouTube? Well, it's those little ads that you see. So at the beginning of my videos, you'll usually see some little ad pop up. It's going to be like a little square that you have to click to close, or it's going to be a video that starts running, and then after 5 seconds or something you can close it. Now I could put on videos that you can't close and you have to watch, like, you know, a 20-second video or something like that. But so far I haven't done that. I don't see myself doing that because I would make more money for sure. I could also make more money by putting on multiple ads and sprinkling them throughout the video. But, you know, those things annoy me so much that I just don't want to bug you with them. And I hate it. I hate the advertising, you know, but it's how Google runs. It's how YouTube runs. And so if that wasn't happening, there really wouldn't be any YouTube. And if you don't like it, you can get YouTube Red. So whenever you see one of those ads, I mean, as long as you don't have ad blocker, because if you have an ad blocker, then I don't get anything. But if you see one of those ads, I get this really tiny amount of money. So that adds up to something like $1 to $2 per 1,000 views. So that's not very much. Obviously, you have to get a lot of views to get any money, but it can work. I mean, there are people who make thousands. There's lots of people who make thousands and tens of thousands and even more per month on YouTube by just that ad revenue. But here's the catch-22. And this is why my channel is so small with, even though I have really high quality content. So there's like an algorithm that's set up. This is all done mechanically, you know, by software. And there's two parts to it. One is search results and one is suggestion results. And they're interrelated, and it's very complex, obviously. Like the things that pop up, I mean, it's very complex how they get there. But both of them favor videos with a lot of views. So channels and videos with lots of views are going to get suggested more often. That's why when you search something, or say you're watching one of my videos or your search related content, you're going to see the same people all the time in the sidebar. And there's a bunch of people out there that you're not discovering because they just don't have enough views to get ranked. So the more views I get on my videos, the more often those videos are going to pop up in search or suggestion, and then the more views they get, and then you see there's a positive feedback loop, and I just haven't got in that yet. So the system doesn't necessarily reward good content. You know, there's no person there saying like, this video is amazing, let's put that at the top. And especially the suggestion ones. But if my video is super relevant to what you searched and super relevant to the video you're watching, I might show up at the top even, or at least on that strip somewhere. But most likely I'm not going to show up there yet. And if there's a whole bunch of other videos that have more views, they're all going to show up before me. So that's why my channel hasn't grown very much, even though I have really good content, because people don't know I'm there. This happens to me still. You know, I just remember, I think it was yesterday, I stumbled on a channel, had no idea that it existed. They had a lot of quality content, but, you know, never seen them because they don't show up in the suggested things. So unless I search for something that they have done a video on that I'm really interested in, and then scroll through pages and pages of search results to finally find them, I'm not going to find them until they start getting more views. And this is why shares help so much. So like if you guys go out and you put one of my videos on a forum, or you share it on Facebook, or you send it to your friend, it begets more views, which begets higher ranking, which begets more views, and then it goes from there. So that's how that's going to happen when it happens. And it is going to happen. It just needs to happen soon, because this whole project is just an expensive hobby for me. You know, I haven't made money. I've lost money for the last 2 years. So that's got to turn around soon so I can just cover my basic expenses and, you know, get on with the rest of it, whatever it's going to do. So the one last thing I just wanted to say about YouTube is comments and likes probably don't contribute very much to that search algorithm ranking and the suggestions and stuff, but they do matter when people come in and watch a video, because no one wants to be the first one on the dance floor. People want to see that there's something going on. I noticed that of myself. If I run across a video I might not normally comment on, but it has like tons and tons of comments and activity, I'm more likely to want to comment on it, just because there's stuff going on. You know, if it has a ton of likes for some reason, then that's intriguing. You know, it makes it look like there's something going on when people show up. So those are the things that are kind of going to help YouTube take off. And I'm going to do some personal things to try to like strategize better and just form better small habits to get more growth in my YouTube channel. Maybe do some collaborations this year with other YouTubers or something like that. But it's only going to grow so fast no matter what. No matter what you guys do, no matter what I do. Sadly, you know, it's just going to take a while, and I'm probably not going to dedicate a lot of time. I feel like if I really dedicated a bunch of time to figuring that whole problem out, I'd have to take off you know, part of the week and just maybe go down to doing one video a week, which I may do, and I may have to do that to make money. We'll see how that goes, but yeah, I may do that, but I really don't want to. Like, I like making 2 videos a week. I have so much content that I want to make, and so many things that just kind of pop up that are timely, where I'm like, oh, I have these mushrooms, I'll make this video. You know, I just don't want to do that. So I probably won't do it unless the hammer's really, you know, the axe is falling. The other thing is Amazon affiliates. And just first, let me say thanks so much to those of you who already use my Amazon affiliate link, but I'm going to describe how that works. And you should know how all this YouTube stuff works, and Amazon and all that, because everywhere you go on the internet, everything you're consuming information here and there, people are trying to push you to Amazon, and they're doing certain things to try to get views. You know, they use like clickbait titles that aren't even about the thing that the video is about. And if you know how we make money and how these things work, then you kind of understand. It was an eye-opener for me to understand why people are doing certain things and trying to push me in certain places. So the way Amazon affiliates works is it's actually pretty cool, and it can really work well for people like me to get support. But the way it works is I have an Amazon affiliates account. Anyone I send to Amazon, they give me a commission on anything you buy. So if I mention a book, say Dudley Cook's The Axe Book, and I put a link down here in my description, I'm going to go to Amazon and get a special link. And when I put that link in my description, video description, and you click on it, It just keeps track of the fact that I sent you to Amazon. And then anything you buy for 24 hours, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. I get a 4 to 6% commission on those items just for sending you there. What I do is I have several links like that for my friends, and I just copy their affiliate link, put it in my browser bar, and it says Amazon Emily or Amazon Erica or whatever, and I click on those every time I shop at Amazon. So I know that once I click on that, anything I put in my cart, they're going to get a commission on, as long as I buy it within 24 hours. So if I wasn't doing that, I'd be throwing away 4 to 6% of every purchase that my friends could be getting. So if you don't do it for me, do it for someone, because it's just money that Amazon makes that someone else could be making. That's how that works. And I don't review a lot of projects, and that's why you go to these websites or see video reviews and they're just not critical at all, and it just seems like they want you to buy everything. You know, you go to their Amazon store and they just have tons and tons and tons of tools. Well, I just don't even recommend that much stuff, and I don't like recommending stuff without any qualification. Usually I'll try to at least say something about the product. So I don't use those a lot, but again, if you're going to shop there, you can shop through my links and help me make money for nothing. It doesn't cost you anything, and it takes 1 minute literally to set it up, and then it's just set up and you can just use it. So that's what I do. All right, finally, Patreon is coming. If I don't get Patreon together this month, someone hunt me down and beat me with a giant zucchini or something. It's coming. I've had people like yell at me to get a damn Patreon account, and I didn't even know what it was until people started saying, get a Patreon account and we'll support you. I'm getting it together this month. I have a physical product that I want to make, which is actually my next major physical project for a video project, and I'm not going to do a lot of that though, because I don't want to feel like I'm bribing people, and I don't think of Patreon as a way for you to pay me back for what you get out of my videos. I mean, I think that's totally legitimate too, and if you feel that way, I'm not here to discourage you or anything. But what I think of is that anyone who supports me in any way is helping me help everybody else, because that's the truth. I do it because it's in my nature. I don't know why. I'm just a natural born educator, scientist type of person. I want to learn stuff and translate that information into something that people can use. So that's the way I see Patreon, is that supporting me is supporting me helping everybody else do just what you've been seeing me do for the last 2 years. So that's coming. And just for looking towards the future real quick here, what I want is, I want this to get huge. I've never had a lot of money just because of the reasons I just told you, and I don't care about what most people would call personal gain. Like, I don't think of that stuff, and I don't even think of my own future. Like, I think of my life as very temporary, and I'm just here now, and I'm doing what is important to me, and whatever happens after that, whatever. I don't even think about it really that much. To me, this is like a campaign or a war or something, and I'm just in it. I'm in the trenches. I'm doing this now, and whatever happens, maybe I'm going to be a casualty of that whole process or whatever. That's just what's important to me. So for me, what I want money for is to expand this project. I want a better place to live. I live in a freaking trailer. I'd like to get that together. I'd like to hire friends to help do infrastructure here. I'd like to improve the property. I'd like to own the property just so I have security here. I mean, there's things I would spend money on that would be, benefit me personally. But what I really want is to expand this project. I want to hire help. All right, I got cut off there. But a perfect example of that is my apple breeding program. So I started this just out of an interest and kind of to prove a point, and to encourage people to get that much more involved in their food source, basically. I don't know. You can watch my video on why I do that project. But anyway, I have 120 seedlings in the ground, something around there. And I'm already having a hard time keeping up with those. It's big. It's kind of a big project, and I just have so much maintenance. And now with doing like 2 videos a week and thinking about other projects, I'm really not keeping up with it. And then I have another 120 trees, which I just showed you recently, and I have to get all those grafted and in the ground this year. So that's going to double that amount already. And then I have seeds in the fridge, so I want to get those planted, and then the following year those will get planted out for more rows. And then I would like to keep going. You know, I'd like to keep going and get maybe like 600, 800, 1,000 trees in the ground, just because there's a lot more crosses and groups of crosses I would like to make, and then let it run from there. But to do all that, like, it's just too much for me. I have to quit. You know, I really have to quit this year, and I already feel maxed out on that. So in order for me to go do other projects, like, I need someone to manage that project. So my idea is, if I get enough money, I'm going to hire someone to manage that project, and they'll take care of the labor and just make sure it's all working. Like last year, I had what, you know, 6 or 8 fruits that I tried. I didn't take notes on any of them. I didn't even write down the tags. Like, only one of them I know the exact tree that the fruit came from, that red fleshed apple. So I can go back retroactively and make notes on that fruit. But the rest, it's too late now. You know, I just didn't get to it because I was busy with other stuff. So that's the kind of thing I'm talking about, and I just have a lot of ideas like that that I would like to get out, that I would need to hire labor for. Some of them I'd have to buy materials for, and also, yeah, managing. If I want to get any books published, like, this is just not going to happen. I need help with that too. You know, I need someone to work with in publishing. If I can produce the content and get the pictures taken and all that, they'll help me get the whole thing together and get it out there and get it marketed. So that's, if any money over paying off the homestead and you know, my basic needs and improving the property a little, maybe getting like more comfortable living situation, that's what I want money for, and that's what I think about when I think about getting money. Those are the things I think about. And buying a new pair of shoes, because I haven't bought a new pair of shoes in probably 20 years. 20 yep, 25 probably, actually. Probably 25 years. So there you go. Thanks so much for watching. Just watching means a lot, actually. I mean, that really means a lot. That's what it's all about, actually. That's where it starts. Because if you guys weren't watching, I wouldn't be doing this, and I wouldn't continue to do it at the level of views I'm getting. It's just too much. I'm putting out too much and not reaching enough people. But that's not going to happen. I know it's going to work. This is the year. I started to see a little climb in ad revenue on YouTube and people using the Amazon links, and I was like, okay, just the last couple months I'm like, okay, I can see it starting to work now, like it's actually going to work. So yeah, thanks for that. Thanks so much for those people that use my Amazon link already, and all the great comments and the likes and all of it, and just being involved too. Like, especially, you know, a big shout out to people who are going to go for the Cordwood Challenge, or in any other way take the information that I'm putting out there and are starting to try to apply it, because really that's what it's about to me. You know, that's what I want to see. And part of my goal too is to create the audience that I want to be viewing my stuff. And I have ideas towards that end too that I'm really excited about. What I can actually pull off, we'll see again. You know, getting some help with that stuff will be really make it more feasible to get some of it done. So we'll get back to regularly scheduled content next week, hopefully on Wednesday. It's a real rainy winter, so